Okay, so this one's slightly different, and what we have here is we have a negative. And the nice thing is, we're going to set it up the same way. So everything's going to be the same until right at the end. So you could pause and try to set it up the right way if you want. So this is going to be 1 and 3. This is going to be 1, 11, 11 and 1. Even the red numbers are the same. 1 times 11 is 11. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 11 is 33. Now here's where things change a little bit. So if you remember you're expanding it all, it has to multiply essentially to this and add up to this. That's roughly where we're going with this. In order to multiply to a positive number, it's going to have to be either 2 positives or 2 negatives. But it has to add up to a negative number. And there's no way 2 positives could add up to a positive number. So we know that we're going to have 2 negative numbers. So we're going to look at the red numbers, and we need to make them both negative. That's what we need to do. We need to make them both negative. So we're going to make this one negative by putting a -1 in front of that over there. We're going to make this 33 negative. I put it underneath, but you get the point. By putting that over there. And then we read across as usual. So it's going to be x minus 11, 3x minus 1. Okay, this one we're going to do something, but it's going to be a bit of a weird screw up. So, coming down the line. So this is going to be 5 and 2, 1 and 10. This is going to be 1 and 6, 6 and 1, 2 and 3, 3 and 2. Okay, so let's do the 5 and the 2 first. So 5 times 6 is 30. 2 times 1 is 2. That's actually a winner already, right? Just in case you did the other ones, I'll just quickly go through the numbers. 15 and 4, 10 and 6. And so we can tell right away that and so we're essentially done, right? So it has to multiply to a positive, add up to a negative. So they're both going to be negative. So it's going to be 5x minus 1 times 2x minus 6. But wait, we could have also, let's say we had done the 1 in the 10 row. So let's say we had actually started with the 1 in the 10. So 1 times 6 is 6, 10 times 1 is 10. That's 1 and 60, no go. That's 3 and 20. And this one is 2 and 30. So wait a minute, this one works as well. So we actually could do those two. So we could also do x minus 3, because they both have to be negative, and 10x minus 2. And so we have different answers actually, and so the question is which one is right? And the answer is unfortunately that neither is right actually. They're both, well, they're not wrong, but they're essentially incomplete. And the reason they're incomplete is that there's some common factors left. If you look over here, there's a common factor that we could pull out. If you look over here, there's a common factor. So let's look at those on another sheet. So we had, so one answer was 5x minus 1, 2x minus 6. And what we could do is we could factor out a 2 from that bracket. And that's going to leave x minus 3. And traditionally, we put numbers in front. So it's going to be 2, 5x minus 1, x minus 3. And our other answer was x minus 3 times 10x minus 2. Again, there's a common factor of 2 in that second bracket. 2, 5x minus 1. Bring the 2 to the front. And you'll notice if we actually factor it correctly, so if we pull out all the common factors, we get the same answer either way. So these two answers are not wrong, but they're kind of halfway there. It's kind of like if you had 10 over 20 and you simplified that to 5 over 10. Like, it's not wrong, but you got to go all the way. You can't stop halfway through the factoring business, or halfway through the simplifying in this case. Now there's a way actually to do this even faster. I'll show it over here. So if we had 10x squared minus 32x plus 6, what we probably should have done is we should have noticed that there's a common factor right in this. So there's a 2 common factor, which will leave us with 5x squared minus 16x plus 3. And then all we have to do is common factor, I mean not complex factor, this one over here. But it's actually even going to be easier this time, because now the numbers are smaller, right? So before we had all of this, but now we only have that, and that's going to give us, so 3 and 5, that's a no-go. 1 and 15, clearly that's the winner. They both have to be negative. And so this 2 is still going to be there. So the 2 is still going to be there. From the top, we're going to get x minus 3. And then from the bottom, we're going to get 5x minus 1, which is another way of getting the same answer. So notice there's 3 ways we could do it. We could either common factor after, so we could do the complex right away, or we could common factor first and make our life a lot easier.